Morning, everyone. Glenn Kellaway from the basement. Hope everyone is doing well. This is part 4 or 5 in my series of 101 albums you need to hear before you die. I'm down to the pretty much to the end. I'm going to be going from From number 39 down to number 26, and then one more video to go where we'll do our top 25, and then that will be the end of this series. I hope people have been turned on to a couple of records here and there. That's all really the goal of this was. So let's get started. One of my favorite artists and a guy who was really inspirational in my musical growth as a player. One of the reasons I took up acoustic music and fell in love with acoustic music. Great session guy whose name is synonymous with Bob Dylan. He produced one of my favorite albums, John Hartford's Steam-Powered Aeroplane, and a great musician in his own right, and had a great band in the 70s, David Bromberg. This is David's third album, I believe, Wanted Dead or Alive. Cool picture. David on the top of the Empire State Building. He was on the Columbia label at this time. This would have come out in mid-70s, I would say. Great album. It has Jerry Garcia as a guest on this album, by the way. This is probably my favorite Bromberg album. It has The Hold Up, which he co-wrote with George Harrison. That's the title track. There's a great song called Someone Else's Blues, all about this guy who wakes up in the morning. He's got the blues, but everything's going so good for him. He's got more, the money's fallen out of his pocket, and he's got more girls than he can use and use. I think that's the frame he used. But he's got the blues, and he must have someone else's blues. Who gave it to him? It's kind of a funny tune, but it's a great blues song. So check out David Bromberg if you're not familiar with his work. Next, we are going with Bobby Gentry. I ignored Bobby Gentry my whole life because just the Ode to Billy Joe, which is the title of this album, that song was cool, but I just thought she was kind of like a country artist or something. But it turns out she was right in the mud of the Delta, man. Real dirty, gritty stuff from Bobby Joe. She had a great voice too. Bobby Gentry. Just check her out. There's a one called I guess this album and the Delta Sweetie, I think it's called. There's a bunch of them, but she's really good. Like really good. Great voice, great guitar work. It's just cool stuff. Who knew? Here's one that I was turned on to in the VC a couple of years ago, and I'm not sure who turned me on to it, but they interested me enough that I bought it. And it's the artist is called Dadawa, and the album's called Peace and Love. Now, what this is like, Jamaican heavy reggae music, but psychedelic guitar incorporated in it. It's really a neat album. It's very good. I think it's very cool. It's on the Wild Flower album, something a little different. So check it out if you get a chance. Next, an album that I have been bragging about because I saw this tour. Nick Mason's Saucer Full of Secrets tour was fantastic. The band's great. I've heard people comment and say, it's just the drummer. It's almost like a cover band. But no, it's great. It's freaking awesome. If you have not heard Nick Mason's Saucer Full of Secrets, the live album, and they're touring right now, go see them and check out this record. It's fantastic. And it's great packaging, too. They do all the songs pre-Dark Side. Even pre-metal. I don't even know if there's any metal songs on this, but all the early psych stuff. It's outstanding. Next, here's an artist that goes by the name of, now you know what? I forgot her real name. That's not going to be good. But anyway, she goes by the name of Waxhitachi. This album's called St. Cloud. This is another album I got turned on to on the VC and just decided to check out. It's singer-songwriter stuff for the most part, but really a cool artist. This one's called St. Cloud. I love this album. It was a great record. It was one of my favorite albums of 2020, I think it was. Okay, next. This might be the first jazz album that I fell in love with before I even fell in love with jazz, and it's Grover Washington's Wine Light. This is an easy album to love. It's very melodic. It's really nice. It's great dinner music, and or you want to have a romantic evening with the wife or the girlfriend, put this album on. It's pretty cool, and it's got of course the hit song "The Two of Us" that Bill Withers did an incredible vocal performance on. But this is a fine record. I love it. It sounds really good too. Next, one of my musical heroes, I talk about him all the time, Bala Fleck. The album he put out in late 2021 it's prog bluegrass, progressive bluegrass I call it. Bala Fleck, My Bluegrass Heart. This album is incredible. 2-record set with every all-star acoustic musician in the planet helping Bala out on this album. Sam Bush and David Grisman and Sierra Hull, Chris Thiley, Billy Strings, who's becoming a big star, Brian Sutton, great flat picker, Molly Tuttle, the amazing Jerry Douglas, Stuart Duncan, who's played with everyone from Mark Knopfler to Elvis Costello, Edgar Meyer, the incredible double bass player, and great banjo players Noam Pakilny and Tony Trischka. This album is incredible, just incredible. I always on my turntable, absolutely love it. Please check that out. Please. Okay, we're going to go with this. My good friend Sam and fellow Cosmic Torpedo encouraged me to buy this, and I never would have bought it without his encouragement. I don't know why, but I probably wouldn't have. The Monkees Live, the Mike and Mickey Show. This is fantastic. It's beyond fantastic. It's just so good. The performances are fantastic. Both Mike and Mickey are in great voice, and it's a fun listen. All the hits are there, plus some great Nez tunes, and if you have not heard this album, check it out. It is so good. The Monkees Live, the Mike and Mickey Show. I need to pick this up on vinyl. Okay, I've talked about this band before too. From Toronto, 60s. They were considered Canada's Rolling Stones, the Ugly Ducklings. This was their debut album called Somewhere Outside. It has been reissued on splattered vinyl, the Yorktown label. Where can I see that? There we go. Anyway, fantastic album. They had pretty much two big hits. Nothing was their first big hit in Canada, and then a song called Gaslight, which isn't on this album, but that's it. They also do cover of I Ain't Gonna Eat My Heart Out Anymore, which the Rascals did a brilliant job of. Ugly Ducklings. If you get a chance to check these guys out and you like early Stones, you will love this. Oh, what's next on the list? Okay, we're going for a jazz musician. I'm going to show you this 5-album series. It can be picked up very cheaply. The artist is Jimmy Smith. Jimmy Smith plays Norman Maslov turned me on to this guy. He is a Hammond B3 organ player who plays jazz, and he is just incredible. So if you're into rock and you like that old 60s sound with the organs and stuff like that, you'll probably really dig Jimmy Smith. This set here, $20 probably, and 5 amazing albums. Anytime you see anything with Jimmy Smith's name on it, just grab it. He's fantastic. Especially if you have trouble with jazz and you want to kind of get into it, this is a pretty good starting point, man. It's pretty cool. Okay, I got to turn the page. Next on the list, number 29. This is the only album I know of, maybe you guys know of more, that's known by its catalog number. Anybody who's into bluegrass and you say, I got 0044, they know it's J.D. Crowe and the New South on Rounder Records. This is one of the holy grails for bluegrass lovers. It's a great, great album. Fantastic. I mean, it just filled with superstars. The incredible Tony Rice. Ricky Skaggs was in the band. Jerry Douglas plays on the album but wasn't a full-time member. Just an outstanding, one of the, probably the best modern bluegrass album of all time. Arguably one of the best bluegrass albums of all time, even taking all the traditional guys in account. Fantastic album. If you ever see this in the wild, just pick it up, even if you're not a fan, because you can flip it for some big money. There you go. XTC. I became a fan of XTC over the past 2-3 years. I saw their documentary, which really intrigued me, and I can't remember what actual song really got me going on them again, and I thought, geez, these guys are great, and I started picking up all their albums, and then I heard this one, The Black Sea. This album is so freaking good. My favorite XTC album. If you're like me and you're an old fossil from the 60s and early 70s, and you just kind of ignored the 80s and whatever, give XTC a chance. What a great band they are. Fantastic. But this is my favorite one, The Black Sea. Next. Okay, we are going with, I've only got 2 more to go. Number 27. Back in 1969, my cousin and I walking along Yonge Street in front of this, they call the head shops back then, which sold posters and records and incense and hippie clothes and stuff like that. Media One Stop was the place on Yonge Street, and they had these big speakers blaring out front. I don't want to get into the story of what kind of condition we were in when we heard this, but it wasn't healthy. And we're standing out and they're blaring this heavy blues album, and we're just going, oh my God, who is that? And we never found out that night because we were kind of distracted. But the next day we went back and said, what album were you playing last night? They were playing this, Fathers and Sons, one of my all-time favorite blues albums. I love that cover. The black dude kind of reaching down to the white dude, because this album is really all about the great originators, well, I guess originators, but you know, what are you going to call it? The heavyweights of blues, Muddy Waters, guys like that, and they're passing the torch down to Michael Bloomfield and Paul Butterfield and all those guys. And this album is the old guys and the new guys getting together, making an album. One side is studio, the other album is live. It's just a fantastic record. It's on Chess Records. This was a reissue, but if you find this album anywhere, check it out. And I just love that cover so much. Okay, last but not least, Tom Waits. A lot of people have problems with Tom Waits, and I get it. I'm sure everybody respects his songwriting. Some people can't do the voice, and I get it. I love it, but and obviously a lot of people do, because Tom's made a few bucks. But if you want to learn to appreciate Tom Waits, start at the beginning. Closing Time, a fantastic record, and his voice hasn't gotten to that Captain Beefhearty, heavy, crazy vocal that he uses. This is more melodic. Songs are wonderful on this. He does his version of Old 55 on here, which is, if you're an Eagles fan, you've certainly heard that song. But I love Tom Waits, and this is a great starting point in his catalog. That's it for today. We kept it to 15 minutes. Please push the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already. We're down to the top 25. I will be doing those tomorrow or Thursday. So thanks again, everyone. Really appreciate the feedback I've gotten on this series. and the views. It's been pretty good. So thank you so much. Have a great day.